We are live. Hey, welcome everybody. We are doing another installment of Versus. This time out is going to be Star Trek versus Star Wars. And before I get too far into that, I want to let you know who I am. I am RT Bear, and I have over 35 years invested in the comic book industry, mainly as an inker, but I've written comics and I've penciled comics for Marvel, DC, and you name it, I probably worked on it. So, without further ado, the amazingly talented writer-artist Taylor Grasso.
Oh, thanks, Art. Hi, everyone. I'll be reading your chat today, so join the conversation. Let us know where you weigh in on this verses.
Yes, and we could not do this show, these Versus shows, without my next guest star, Hack Shack alumnus, artist extraordinaire, John Davies. John Davies, say hi.
Hey everybody, rock on. It's going to be super cray-cray today.
Yeah, boy.
Art, title in the chat says you've been doing comics longer than his parents have been married.
Oh, gosh. You know, it was quite a revelation the other day, and then I announced this on one of the live chats that I was 35 years in the business, and they were like, holy moly, and they did the math real quick. And they go, you're old. And I'm like, well, yeah. Tell me something I don't know. But the thing is, you know what? 35 years, still on top of my game, baby. Still on top.
Sharp as a tack.
Sharp as a well, yeah. Sometimes I can be sharp as a tack. So, okay, I just want to forward this to everybody listening and to the esteemed panel here. This is probably the most ambitious verses we've ever done, and I don't know if we're going to do it justice. We will try our hardest, but this has been debated in fandom forever. Which is better, Star Wars or Star Trek? So, Taylor and I, we did a little bit. We didn't get too much time to think about this because we've been very busy, but we had narrowed it down to two versions of one version of Star Wars, one version of Star Trek. And so we're going to do the most recent cinematic Star Wars, Star Trek universes. So we're going to do the J.J. Abrams. Oh my gosh, I just realized J.J. Abrams did both.
Oh, man. He did.
The guy gets around.
What can I say? The guy gets around. Yeah, so the most recent J.J. Abrams Star Trek, and I guess the most recent, at least Force Awakens, was done by J.J. Abrams. The other one we don't name. He is the director's name that we do.
The one we shall not name.
Yeah. Who I think have divided the fandom.
Yes. I was just going to say this will probably be a multi-part video just because we're doing this in sections because there's so much content in these two universes of this franchise.
Well, Taylor, should we try to do the whole, like both? Or should we just do one at a time then?
Well, the thing is,
we'll do Star Wars and then we'll do Star Trek, but then there's no context, right? We got to establish a context.
Yeah, I mean, the only problem is that there's 3 Star Trek movies. It's already wrapped, and there's only 2 Star Wars movies, unless we count Solo or Rogue One, and I don't think that's very fair.
Do you want to take one of the Star Trek films out of the equation?
Yeah, let's do that. Let's take the last Star Trek film out of the equation. We'll match the first 2.
Okay. So, do you agree, John? Will that be a fair kind of...
That'd be fine.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, the backup too. Taylor, how many of these films have you seen?
I have seen all of the Star Wars movies, and I saw all the Star Trek movies too, actually, but full disclosure, I've never been like a huge Star Trek fan. I don't know anything about their like expanded world.
You're not supposed to say that yet.
Well, I'm just, I got a preface.
She's ruining it.
Because I used to roll deep with Star Wars. I just know more about it.
I used to roll deep. That's awesome.
Hey, she can
Okay.
only get in one car at a time,
Yeah, you can only be interested in expanded view of one sci-fi franchise.
Well, I definitely have a bias, but oh gosh, this is going to be epic because this is like with Star Trek that's been around since the 60s, right? The mid late 60s.
Yeah, they came around first, a lot longer first.
And then Star Wars was mid to late 70s.
77.
77. Okay, so whoa. We may have bit off more than we could chew, but I guess let's just try to fudge through it. But John, so have you seen all these films that we're talking about?
I've seen every last movie.
Okay.
So both franchises, yeah.
Okay. So we're kind of all familiar with it. There's one thing. Let me see if I can do this. I'm going to lock it on me. I had a sketch that I was doing in the last chat, so everybody in the chat wanted to see it. So I go over here.
And you push the button.
And I push the button, screen share. Oh, what did I do?
Don't turn the screen around.
Don't turn the screen around.
Yeah.
Okay. Share. Boom. And then boom. And there it is. Is that it? Can you see it?
Oh, that is wonderful.
Okay. While Taylor and I were chatting, I just jotted this down. So it's pretty loose. But this will be the drawing that we are going to give away for the black and white. Was it 35K, Taylor? Could you hear her?
Muted. She's muted.
Oh, sorry about that. Yes, 35K for that particular drawing.
Okay. Yeah, so I know we're pushing 30 at this point, and I'm hoping we'll get to that at the end of the night, because if we can get to the 30K stretch goal by the end of the night, then some lucky black and white fan will win the Grey Capullo RT Bear variant cover from the Black and White Remastered campaign, and one lucky runner-up will receive page 1 from the original Black and White series, issue 2. So if you haven't seen them, they're up on the Indiegogo site right now. And so I guess you got to move these things forward, right? You got to let them know what's after the stretch goal that's right in front of them. So this will be the next stretch goal after we hit that 30K, and we're hoping to get that tonight. So if we can get that by day's end today, Friday, then like I said, somebody will get those two lucky people will get that artwork. So,
and we're close.
Wow, this is ambitious.
Yeah.
Well, that's how we got to narrow it down to
close.
this.
Yeah.
Hey, might I add with your giveaways? There is no one else doing such like you are doing with the giveaways. That Greg Capullo one, and then also another one. Oh my gosh! Plus the page.
Yeah. Well, the way I
think
look at
about that, everybody, there's nobody's doing that. Just you. That is amazing. That is really amazing.
Get in on this, you guys.
Yeah. Well, thank you, John. And at this point, I just want to get this artwork into black and white fans' hands and in their collection. I've had it for 25 years. It's time. It's time somebody owned this other than myself. So I want to get this into somebody's hands, and just seemed like a great opportunity to do that.
And that's very early on Greg Capullo work. This is before he's super stylized. Yeah. That's amazing art.
So, John, are you in the running?
I am in the running. Yes.
Okay, I'm just gonna say this, you guys. If John wins, are you going to hate him?
They'll probably kick me like they kick Nasser everywhere.
Well, okay. Let's just project this. Okay, Saturday morning when Taylor and I go on live and we go, okay, the winner is number whatever, John Davies, and then everybody just starts finding out where you live, going after you.
Doxing.
No, please, people, don't do that. And if John wins, then he deserved it because he did buy a book and everything. We're just having fun here. So
I bought 2 books.
Oh, did you get the Greg Capullo?
Yes, I did.
Heck yeah.
Don't want to miss out on that.
Let's not make this like it's your brother. We're at Dave's Action Comics. Dave's Action Comics.
Dave of Dave's Action Comics. Guns N' Roses. Giveaway tickets. KROQ. Roxy Bear. Artist of Cable.
It was X-Men at the time.
No. Oh, yeah, it was. It was 12
Yeah, it was X-Men 12 and 13.
Yeah. Hey, John, just briefly tell that story.
So, a long time ago, back in 1990 or whatever, Art was there in Lakewood, near the Long Beach Community College comic shop there at Dave's Action Comics, and KRQ was hosting it, and they had Art to Bear. Was it Dan Panosian?
I don't remember, but it was a live.
Who's your inker? It was your inker.
I inked that.
No, This is even more confusing.
I think Dan helped out, but yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was the Urban Barbarian and you, because he was huge and as muscular wise, not as huge as Art to Bear.
I thought you were talking about his head size.
That too. Yeah, they had to widen the doors to get him in. Anyways, they were in there, and they had the drawing there raffle going on, and Art pulls out the name, and they read the name.
Cool. It was to win Guns N' Metallica tickets. That's what it was.
Yes. Yeah, Guns N' Roses, Metallica, and Faith No More opening. Yes.
Yeah, and this was a live remote on the radio.
Yes. Oh, yeah. And Art pulls out the name. They go and read it, and Art goes, "That's my brother."
Oh, my God.
So were you the plus one? Were you the plus one that went there?
I don't know. What do you mean plus one?
Well, it was 2 tickets. I mean,
okay.
It's never 1 ticket. It's always 2.
Yeah, I think whatever the legit way to enter the raffle, he did. But there was a crowd there too. So
oh my gosh, it went all the way down the block.
Yeah, that was the closest I ever saw. Came to a lynching. I think because I think they could have killed my brother at that moment. Yeah. Yeah, they turned because my brother was kind of like, yeah, that's. Wait a minute, and then they all turned on him, and I go, okay. So I think I just drew another name real quick, and then I apologized to my brother later.
Yeah. Well, you had to.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, because we have a very ambitious show here, and Taylor, I'm trying. Oh, you know what? How do I get out of this? It's locked on me. So how do I get out of being locked on me? Just click the screen anywhere.
Okay, so click. You go back to the live window, and then you click yourself again.
Wait, I go to live window. What do you mean? I just click anywhere?
Hold on, I'll be right there.
Okay. I don't want to accidentally hit the wrong button. I don't hit the live button, do I? All right, dead air. John, dance.
I am dancing. Handstand.
I just clicked myself again.
I'm just doing the floss. Let's do it.
Well, John's talking now, and it's not John on the screen. John, talk.
Yeah.
Okay, there we go. Okay, while I have you here, Taylor, so to get over to the videos, just over here? No. I'm on the chat, but how do I get to a screen share? Okay. But will this take me over to the videos, the Star Wars videos? Click here? Okay. And then just go over here? Okay, and then click on this?
Yeah, click it.
Okay. So now we're on the videos.
Yeah, but you're not screen sharing it.
Okay, but I want to screen... Oh, well, okay, so if I go back... Okay, hold on. All right, you guys. Okay, so I go back now, right?
Okay.
So when I want to screen share, I just hit this button here? Yeah. Okay. Well, how do I click out of this for now so we can... You know what? I'm just going to hit screen share, and then we'll go over to the YouTube, right? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right, I'm going to hit. We're going to go over and then click off. Okay. All right. Sorry, guys. It was getting a little complicated there, and I just... I just didn't want to make sure. I wanted to make sure that I didn't click out of this broadcast. So it looks like we're going to start with Force Awakens. So you guys ready? We're gonna play it. The way we do this is we play a little bit of the video and of the trailer, and then we talk about it a little bit. And since these movies are out and we've already saw them, then we can actually get into them a little deeper. And so then we're going to play some of the Star Trek trailer, and we're going to talk about that. And then what we do is we have a little round robin here between Taylor, John, and myself, and then we come up with who we think is the winner of this. And then we turn it to the crowd and the listeners, and we see how they feel about that. Who's the better? Who's the winner of this? Okay, so I hope I explained that good. Okay, so here we go. So you guys can see the screen?
Yes.
Okay, so I have the sound down.
Now we don't want to get our stream pulled.
All right, so who's that? I don't know who that is. Ooh, she's climbing. Is it a she? I don't know.
The person's climbing.
She or he's hanging down, going down a line. That's good. I'm intrigued. Ooh, maybe it's a girl.
Ooh.
That's a new robot. Somebody's lifting off. You know what? I haven't come back on this trailer since I saw the movie, so this is interesting.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Is he a hero? Is he not? I don't know. What's going on here? Is that the same guy that took the trooper suit off? Who's this?
That's some biker dude.
Is it Vader? Ooh, it's a new Vader.
I hated that design when I first saw it. It's bringing back memories.
Boom. I don't remember that scene. What was that scene? Oh, it's when the planet was getting eradicated. That red that was flying over, right?
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Okay, because it just briefly showed that.
It's always weird to watch these trailers. They have such a different context after you've seen the movie.
Yeah. This Christmas.
There's the Knights of Ren, possibly.
The Knights of Ren.
Which we still haven't seen.
Oh, this is what sold it for me. Yeah.
It was Snoke. He seduced our son.
He seduced our son.
Art does the best impersonation of that scene.
No. Oh my gosh, I want to see this movie now. Okay. Okay, December 18th.
Back when we all had hope.
We had new hope. Okay, so we have that. Let's go to the next. Or do you want to like do video to video, or do you want to go like both Star Wars and then both Star Trek?
You know what? Let's do the first Star Trek one next.
Okay, I like that. Okay.
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah, to evaluate each.
Yeah.
All right, face off.
Keep in mind, both J.J. Abrams. Oh, starting off with a Corvette. That's not a bad way to start. 80 miles an hour. Who's driving? I don't know.
Oh, man. Is this a story set now? No, it's Weird Future World.
It's a kid driving. Wait a minute. Who is that kid? I don't know.
In the future, you could get a license at 10.
Actually, yeah, this is. I always thought the design was so cool, but like it's only briefly seen.
The RoboCop.
What a waste of a vet, says Sticky Wicked.
Yeah,
as in Corvette.
Yeah, I saw the the veterinarian. Ooh, there you go. That's old right there. That like Chrono Mechanics. That's a creator own. That's another project that we want to do comic book wise. That just reminds me of that. Like that's how I would like it to look on screen when they're building the The Enterprise.
Sketch says JJ was the first to be hired. Ryan was hired to destroy all the IPs created by JJ.
Oh, is that how you say his name is Ryan? I thought it was Rain.
Yeah, it's spelled funky.
Yeah.
Oh my God. This looks pretty good. Oh,
How
gee.
he rained on everybody's parade.
Just got better.
I don't know.
What do you mean you don't know?
We all know.
Comic Book Bob says there's a lot of similarities in the shots since J.J. Abrams did both.
Yeah.
Do 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 do.
No. Okay, so we're establishing context, okay, guys. So let's go back to Last Jedi. What is this?
It's like a little preview before the preview. Somebody put in their intro.
This looks very Iron Man.
Yeah, Iron Man's not in there. Sorry.
Okay, look at that. That's a great shot.
I don't even remember that happening in the movie.
Oh, look at that. It looks like it's slow motion a little bit.
It might be so that they could get around getting their video pulled since it doesn't take much.
Yeah. I'm supposed to pause these sometimes, right? So we don't get into trouble.
I mean, we're okay so far.
Okay.
The chat is in pain from watching this trailer. Says, please, God, no, not The Last Jedi. No.
And it feels like it's slowed down a little bit just to hurt us even more.
So you can just linger. You take this lightsaber.
It's Edward Scissorhand. Did you see that? He grabbed the lightsaber. Uh-oh.
This movie was misleading.
She's got
this trailer is misleading.
She's got unchecked aggression. That's not good as a Jedi. It leads to the dark side.
The evil is slow, says Abyssus.
It is. I think it's going a little slow.
It's time to destroy that helmet.
It's like
go ahead.
Carbon fiber Band-Aid has on his face.
Yeah. Somebody pointed out, like, shouldn't they have teased the reveal of Kylo Ren better in the first movie? Like they gave it to you almost unearned. Like it didn't even feel like you earned it. It's like, boom, he takes the helmet off. Oh, it's a young kid. Okay.
Yeah, they really didn't build any intrigue. Well, they did build intrigue, but yeah, they delivered way too fast, so there was no time to really even settle in with that mask design. Right when it started to grow on me, it was gone.
And they let you know that Kylo Ren was the son of Han Solo and Leia, right off the bat. It didn't even take long.
Yeah, that's true. There wasn't no bad guy mystery, and the bad guy mystery they had was all about Snoke.
Snoke, he seduced our son. It was Snoke. That bastard. She didn't say that though.
That would be so much funnier.
She would never say that. That evil, dark-sided bastard.
Oh yeah, Abyssus knows all about the expanded you. Said, "Oh, it's a Jason Solo ripoff who isn't powerful. Thanks, Disney." Yeah, it is.
Yeah. What is this now? It feels like a totally different movie. It's like it starts a whole new movie. This trailer is painful. It's only halfway done, guys. Oh, it's starting over again. No wonder.
Oh.
What the heck? Why was it doing that? Okay.
It says extended trailer, but it doesn't count as extended if you just.
It looks like the same shots over again. Yeah. Okay. So we got that. You guys all know. I think everybody knows how everybody feels about The Last Jedi.
Yeah.
Okay. So I believe this is Into the Darkness.
Yes.
Okay. Star Trek. Sundance, Bad Robot. I like this. Desaturated. Taylor loves desaturated images.
It's true, I do.
There's no captain at the helm. What is going on?
This scene I thought was really cool, actually.
Yeah, but didn't we see that in the first movie? Didn't the Corvette leap off the... always... You know what? Kirk is always taking a leap of faith.
And then going to a bar and talking to an old guy. This is like the first trailer.
Hey guys, you should be captain. This was cool though, the way these guys all got jacked. I'll tell you. I don't think that was exactly Khan in this movie, like what everybody knows and loves of Khan.
My
But
name is
I
Khan.
think if they just wouldn't have called him Khan, I think it would have been a better movie.
Yeah.
Oh, I just thought of this. We lost what's his name? The Russian guy.
Chekhov.
Yeah, that guy was so good in this.
Yeah, he was. R.I.P. Green Room was a good movie.
He was in one of the Terminator movies too, wasn't he?
Yeah, didn't he play
Was it?
the dad?
Yeah, John Connor's dad. What was his name? Reese? Kyle?
I hated that Terminator movie, but I thought that that was kind of interesting.
These visuals are strong though.
Yeah, there's some cool stuff here. I don't think they're as cool as the promise of what Star Wars could have been, but they definitely delivered better.
I think these visuals look better than The Force Awakens. To me personally, the best thing art directionally, I think, with Force Awakens was that salty desert plain. Oh, look at that! Holy,
That's cool. I think just like style wise, I really like future stories where everything looks very like worn and dirty and lived in. And Star Trek's more of like what I consider the Apple future, where things are more clean and streamlined.
yeah, it's the hopeful future.
And just aesthetically, I'm not as into that visually.
You like the hopeless future.
Not necessarily hopeless, but just like worn and lived in. Like it looks like humans, because humans make short work of the earth and their paws are all over things. So I like when stuff looks kind of tactile and worn.
So you want a carbon footprint then, huh?
Yeah, it looks, I don't know. I like the way it looks visually better. I
Yeah.
like my future dirty.
Well, it's more realistic, I think, to think about life that way, unless it was like some kind of really controlled, like Disneyland type of environment where they could keep everything clean and pristine and stuff.
Oh, I know. Dude, you
Okay,
spill a Coke in Disneyland, and they clean it up in 10 seconds.
and no gum is allowed in Disneyland because that's if you chew gum, then that's an apocalyptic start right there because you can just put gum anywhere.
Oh, yeah, that's
Sticks to
foul.
everything. It's the beginning of the end of civilization.
Those are the worst people too. People that just like push their gum on walls and stuff. Ew.
I went to a club with my daughter, and some guy leaned against the wall, and it was just a wall of gum, and he was just bragging
What?
about like his brand new jacket, and then when he pulled away from the wall, like he had like gum all over his jacket. I felt so bad for him.
Oh
Oh,
my god.
The only thing I could do for the poor guy is I said, I think peanut butter takes it out. Like I don't know,
does
but I mean,
it?
I don't know because I'm just thinking if you put peanut butter because it has oil, it would end up probably
Oh.
staining. It would probably end up staining your jacket as well. So it could take off the
Yeah,
gum.
what if he had peanut allergies? Come on.
Oh yeah, maybe I killed that poor guy. I
Abbots
don't
just
know.
says, thanks, Art, for the mental image.
Yeah. Well, you're welcome. That's
I
what I
mean,
do.
you see gum everywhere.
Yeah. I think it's the beginning of the end. I think as soon as mankind came up with gum, it was over. Our evolution was destined to fail.
It brings out the ultimate human laziness.
It's anarchy. It's the very definition of anarchy.
Imagine
But
Star Wars looked like it would have gum on its walls. Like Star Trek doesn't. And maybe that's just what it comes down to.
So when us humans are long gone and some alien life form comes down here and they go, well, they were doomed because they started chewing gum.
Hey guys, I think we're supposed to be
Oh,
talking.
right, the movies.
Okay, so I'm not as sure exactly how to do this because it's so epic.
Okay, I know.
Okay, go for it.
All right. So, how did you guys feel when you first saw the trailer for Star Wars: The Force Awakens?
Ooh, that is a good way to start. John, start us off.
I got super giddy. with Goosebumps, where the hairs on the back of my neck would rise. Especially when Ray starts walking on the sand there, because that's more of an iconic scene with Luke from the very first Star Wars, and I was like, wow, and all the visuals to it as we scroll through
is this the
here.
shot
Yeah.
you're talking about?
Yes. Yeah.
It's a
Because
good
remember him
shot.
standing? Yeah, I remember him standing there at Uncle Ben's, and or not Uncle Ben, his uncle's house, and he had his leg propped up, and you see the sunset there, and or the dawn, and all the sand everywhere.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what reminisced me to it, as a kid. And I was like, oh my gosh, because they came back to using real effects instead of digital effects, and I was like,
yeah, there was a lot of practical. I know J.J. Abrams likes more practical. So what
It's like
else?
you feel like you're watching Star Wars again.
Yeah.
yes.
So then,
Yeah.
what else, John? You said visuals for in the trailer.
Oh yeah. So with the ship, the TIE fighter crashing down, and then just like that visual right there with the stormtroopers lined up and everything. That's really cool.
Okay, Taylor. So, your thoughts of the trailer when you first saw it?
When I first saw it, well, oh gosh, I was super excited when I first saw it, and even when I saw like the teaser, which is barely anything. And they had at a local theater, remember they had like they would play the trailer over and over again.
Yeah.
I like went and saw it at the trailer after I saw a really crappy movie that day. And I remember just like the audience response was really crazy because people were just like walking in to watch the trailer. It was pretty cool. But I think I was so burned by the prequels, and I have like a lot of thoughts on them that I'm not going to share here because that would be a whole other thing. That like seeing it, my only expectation was, or my only hope was like they just have to make it feel like a Star Wars movie, like emotionally. Because the prequels don't feel like a Star Wars movie on that level. So I had very low expectations. So
Yeah.
I was like over the moon when I saw this trailer. 'Cause I'm like, it feels like a Star Wars movie. And
Well,
like,
when you saw this shot, did you think, "Oh my gosh, Vader's in it"?
no, I knew he wasn't in it because the thing is, I spoiled a lot for myself because I had already like read up on it. And so a lot of the like a lot of the beats, a lot of the spoilers were actually completely wrong. I remember, but like I'm really into Star Wars, like the classic saga, and so I looked up everything like before I even saw the trailer. Like I had read all these different theories about it and stuff, so I kind of knew what to expect. So the surprises were kind of spoiled for me even when I saw the movie. But yeah, I don't know. It was a really like cool feeling to kind of get excited about a Star Wars movie because it had been a really long time, and like I've always been a Star Wars fan, but I read a lot of Expanded You and a lot of the books and stuff, so I was kind of not falling out of it, but it was kind of in the back of my brain by that point where I wasn't really excited by the movies anymore.
Yeah. So what stuck out as far as the actual trailer was concerned for you?
Um, I really liked. Okay, I remember the first time we watched this. I really didn't like the Kylo Ren design, but I like seeing all the ship stuff. I think was the biggest thing because remember they show the fighters going over the water.
Yeah.
That was the scene that got me. I thought that was amazing. Like everybody was super like freaking out about seeing the this Millennium Falcon scene that's playing right now. But that scene where they show them coming over the water was like the part where I was like, this is gonna be a good movie. Like
Oh, where
seeing
the X-wings came in.
yes, and like
Yeah.
seeing them I really like seeing the
Not in
ships in
space. Like
yeah,
that's the first time
exactly.
you didn't
No.
see space.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you knew where I was going with it because it's like seeing them in different environments was like a big thing because I don't know, like I really didn't like oh God, I can't remember the name of it. I didn't like Rogue One, but it was cool seeing all those like the AT-ATs and stuff in a different kind of environment.
Yeah. On the beaches. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now you see this on the screen with the Millennium Falcon and the TIE fighters chasing it, and then the huge destroyer ship background. See, those are the type of visuals I was talking about. Like,
Well,
man, this is like epic.
Oh
Right?
yeah.
You know.
yeah.
What about you, Art?
Well, that's what I was just going to say. Like, for me, there were four moments in the original trailer that got me. The first was when what is her name? Ray is in her, it's not in this trailer though. It was in one of the early ones though, where she's in that skiff or whatever that like her little sled that she rides around in, her little ship,
Yeah.
her little go-kart or whatever it is. Yeah, she's riding that and then it's like a profile and she's just kind of like going across the plane. And then in the background is the first time you see one of these the galactic like battleships in ruins in the background. And when I saw that, I was like, "Oh my gosh! This is the aftermath of the epic Star Wars battle that I saw as I was a kid." Yeah,
it's so cool. Yeah, you actually get to see the wreckage and stuff.
Yeah, so that was like the first where I went, "Oh my gosh, this is killer!" And then when they revealed the Millennium Falcon, I was like, "Oh my gosh, why is this working for me?" It was working. Like it was emotional actually, and then just to tie into that was then Harrison Ford walks in with Chewie, and I was like, okay, I'm sold at this moment. And then the other one was just kind of mind blowing was when what is his name? It's not Poe. What's the he has
Finn.
Finn, yeah. When Finn takes the helmet off and it's the first time you see somebody inside of a stormtrooper suit, and
Yes.
and it's not what you expect at all. It's like this guy that looks like he doesn't look like a murderer. He doesn't look like an evil person. He looks like he could be your friend. Like he's a kind-hearted guy. And so then I just started thinking like, wait a minute, is this going to be a stormtrooper that's going to be turned? Is he going to be an ally in this story? And all those things just painted the image so perfectly for me and sold me early on. And like Taylor said, the trailer itself feels like a Star Wars movie. It feels like that to me. So, oh, go ahead.
Oh yeah, I was just gonna say like it's interesting, like you said with the stormtrooper thing. Like stormtroopers are such a huge part of Star Wars. And I thought it was really neat that, yeah, like you finally, one of the characters is a stormtrooper. Like you actually get to know one of those characters. They're not just like a faceless bad guy. And
Yeah.
it seems so obvious. And like, just seeing stuff like the wreckage that's like fallen to the planet is just stuff that kind of, visually lets you know that not only is this like a lived in world, but this is a world that's actually like affected by the war going on.
Yeah, and
Because
it was a world war. So
yeah,
this is a planet that you've never seen before, and yet it was still affected by the Empire, and this war.
and that's something in the prequels, like they really kind of failed on. Like they kept telling everybody there's this horrible war going on, but the people themselves and like the planets they're on seemed largely really unaffected by it.
Yeah. And just on a tangent a little bit, that's why it's important to show when you tell superhero stories to make sure that you show that they're saving people, because that's what they're supposed to be. Because sometimes you can just overshadow it with the epic adventure and forget about the people that they're trying to save. And I think that's a no-no. And you're right. Like in this movie, they definitely touch upon that. Like there were people all over the galaxy that were touched by this war. And this is the scene I think that got all of us, right? This is what you guys were talking about.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But there was the one that, wait, let me back up. This is a different trailer.
There.
Because you see the like the water there, like just being turned up. And I think in one of the trailers you get to see the profile. Like it cuts from that to the profile of them flying like just, maybe 25 feet above the water. Just
it's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, because this one changes. It goes to another scene.
Now, the big thing that got me with the stormtroopers, and like she said, with the bringing a face to them underneath the helmet, where we all knew that the stormtroopers were clones.
Yeah.
Well, then there's a different person underneath this. And you always wondered that in the original trilogy too. Like, what kind of people are under here? You know, did they gather up the people from all over the galaxy and
Yeah.
made them soldiers? You know, in this empire, and now this kind of shows it a little further into it instead
And
of
in
just
this
being
one,
clones. Yeah,
right. And this one, they actually give a story reason why, because, you know, instead of going back into the same programming with clones, God, what is it? Hux or whatever says, no, you know, these are individual soldiers. So like, you know, like if you fail, you don't want to repeat the same process. You don't want to, you know, do the same thing over again. So it seems like they had the mindset, the Empire had the, or whatever what are they called in this?
The First Order.
First Order.
yeah,
Yeah, had the idea that we're not going to clone the army. We're going to actually recruit people and we're going to train them, and that maybe we'll have a better chance if we have individuals that can fight versus like clones that will all kind of act similarly, I guess. You know, oh, go ahead.
Sketch brings up something, says X-Men Apocalypse made the same mistake. I guess talking about the prequels, said there were practically no humans in the Apocalypse movie, so there was no one to save. Yeah, I think if you're going to establish like any kind of big conflict, you do need to show how it actually affects the world in that way.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
Yeah.
there's no stakes. Like they showed, because at least in the Force Awakens, they showed those people on that planet about to die. So you
yeah, you
kind of
got to
there's
show
actually a
how
face to it.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
at the beginning of the Force Awakens, yeah, they showed that whole camp of people or that town or village or whatever
Yeah.
it is. Yeah,
So it kind of puts things in perspective.
yeah. So I think we're in love with that. So let's go back and fall in love with the Star Trek, and then we'll try to come up with a consensus. I'm not going to play the other two like the Star Wars trailer. We already know how we feel about it. And then like Khan, we can kind of like, oh well, you know, it wasn't exactly Khan, you know.
Yeah.
And yeah, I thought this was pretty intriguing as far as just an intro.
You know what it reminded me of though?
What's that?
Treasure Planet.
Yeah, it
a
Like
definitely.
little
a
bit.
lot
Yeah.
like Treasure Planet.
Oh yeah.
But you can tell like this is not a like a contemporary kid. You know, the shoes and his clothes are different, but it's weird because you saw like this giant, like you can see it in this, like ghosted in the upper left hand corner, that there's some kind of giant, you know, structure there, and so it's kind of fun that there's this juxtaposition of like this kid looks like he's from the future, yet he's driving around in a '60s Corvette, you know, or maybe '50s actually. So here we go. And then just in case you weren't
That is a
paying
great
attention,
design.
yeah, then you know that this kid is not a contemporary kid. This is a different timeline. Yeah, I love that design too.
So cool. I like the silhouette, how he has the weird shape on his like pants and stuff. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Really strong design to only show for like 20 seconds.
Oh, there we go. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I had my volume turned down in my headset. Okay, so yeah, that's really cool. The
Kid's a
kid.
little too blonde, I think.
Yeah. Hey, Taylor, believe it or not,
Yes.
it does happen. Some kids are that blonde.
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Ew.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, you know, you're that shot I was talking about with rain across the plain with the ships in the background.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Are you saying he's a one-trick pony?
I don't know. Maybe this is the same idea at play here.
Same
It is
director.
really interesting to compare these because knowing the same person's behind, like you really get a sense of what they like visually.
Yeah, and then this is a cool payoff because now you get to see that giant structure that they've been playing at, and you realize that those are the giant structures from, you know, the Corvette scene, and then we have this older guy here that's on a motorcycle, so you know that it's the same general area, the same planet or whatever, and it's probably Earth. I think it is Earth. Oh my gosh, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was killer. And like I said, I got a create your own book called Chrono Mechanics, and they're time repairmen, and I just imagine scenes like this if there was ever a movie.
Ooh, that'd be really big, grand scale stuff.
Yeah, repairing things, and look at all the scaffolding and all the lifts and everything to build the Enterprise. This is crazy cool. And oh, do you remember there was a trailer, like a teaser trailer before this, where you have some guy like he's welding on top of the Enterprise?
Oh
and
yeah.
Oh my gosh, that was so cool. And you don't realize what it's on top of, and then it kind of pulls back.
That was cool.
Yeah, and then it said Enterprise on it.
Yeah, and then it said Enterprise. That was really cool. That was a definite Chrono Mechanics beat for me. And so then you got, okay, he's dreaming. He's a little bit Luke Skywalker right here. Like,
yeah,
I want to join the rebellion.
And you see the dawn of the morning, and him in the desert looking. Yeah.
Well, J.J. Abrams actually was on record. I think he had a meeting with Lucas about how could I make Star Trek cooler, and then Lucas said, "Bring Star Wars into it." and if you think about it, that's exactly what this is.
Was Spock okay? You guys probably know more about Star Trek than me. Was this always his backstory that his mom was human?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, he was a half and half.
That's interesting.
Yeah, so yes. I think they really condensed the storytelling in this, and they humanized Spock in a way that they didn't, I believe, anyways. I could be speaking wrong because I don't know a lot of the Star Trek history either, but I think they humanized it where they gave him a little bit of rage, and then they have a flashback where he wasn't exactly liked because of his human ancestry, his mom. So the Vulcans kind of looked at that as weakness, and that he wasn't quite one of them.
Pure blood. Yeah, pure blood.
I do like that as a concept.
And by the way, I don't think this scene's even in the movie. This one right here.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, I don't. Is that his dad and his mom? Who are these?
I think that's his dad
that's his mom and dad. Yes.
His dad scored.
Yeah, but wasn't Winona Ryder his mom? That's not Winona Ryder.
No.
Wasn't she his mom in the movie?
His dad's messing around.
Mom's cheating. Or his dad's cheating.
Oh my gosh.
Wait a minute.
Scandal.
I just might have uncovered something here.
I could see Winona Ryder being with someone that was like a Vulcan.
But that is not Winona Ryder there, right?
I don't know. It could be. I think it might be. Well, I don't see why it wouldn't be.
Like maybe just digitized to make her look younger? Because this might have been like
I think so, yeah. I think they did something to her.
Because
it looks like it could be her.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't see why it wouldn't be. That would be bizarre.
Let's just say it's not, so I can keep my my whole like. Look what I discovered.
I love her.
You're like a Star Trek Discovery, aren't you?
Ooh, yes. All I know is this scene is not in the movie.
No, I would like to see his parents' dynamic though.
Look at a Spock's like knitted sweater, like. He just looks like so human. Like
did your mom knit that for you?
Exactly.
Your stupid human mom.
Exactly.
Dresses you like a dork.
You're a dork. Actually, that's kind of the context of the scene too, because I think at that point he's like, "No, I reject the council because I have that human side."
It's punk rock.
Yeah.
The chat says, yeah, it's Winona. The chat basically all says Winona Ryder. Just the lighting makes her look different.
She looks hot there. Wait a minute. She doesn't look as crazy as she does in Stranger Things.
Well, you don't see her eyes head on, so you don't see that lost look.
Her crazy human eyes.
Your mom's like crazy Miss Bowers is your mom.
Why don't she hang up her Christmas lights?
He's like, Spock, is that Winona? Or not.
Yeah. Oh, and by the
Spock.
way, yeah, Kirk is beat up through half of this movie.
He is. I didn't notice until now. He has the giant scratches on his face.
That's also how they humanize him. I think Spock kicks his butt in this movie. It's awesome.
Rhaegar says, "I like Winona Ryder, but she is cray cray."
You know that. Super cray cray.
John, it's working. It's working.
Spreading like wildfire.
Oh, there's Anton Yelchin.
Oh my gosh, he's so good in this role. Oh, look at this. Oh, my
You know what? This was a good movie.
Oh,
I'm
there
like
she is.
reliving it now.
That's crazy, Winona.
Wino for
Yeah,
life.
that's mom. That's mom.
That's mom. We have to refer to her as what is
But
what is
Mrs. Byers.
yeah, but Spock doesn't have a last name. Oh my gosh, I was going to call her like try to be like respectful, but
I don't remember.
It's Mrs. Spock.
Yeah, I don't think they. I'm sure he does. I just don't remember.
I forget Sarek's last name.
All right, I'm just saying right now, this should have been Green Lantern. He should have been Hal Jordan.
Yes. Oh, 100%. He'd be perfect.
Okay, here we go. The Vulcan pinch. Doesn't he get him to beat him up? Like he beats him up bad. Like Spock beats up Kirk really bad here. Oh, there it is.
Oh.
Yeah. Dude, he laid down the boomstick, didn't he?
Why did he get him to do it? I don't remember.
Because he wanted to try to get him dethroned or something so he could be captain. Like he wanted to show that he was unstable. Because he talked to Spock in the future, or like the future Spock, or oh gosh,
alternate timeline.
Yeah, the alternate timeline Spock.
Yeah,
and so he told him, "You have to be captain." So he gave him kind of some insight, and that so the only way he could do that is to compromise Spock's authority, and so that's what he does here. Yeah, at great expense because he gets his butt kicked pretty bad.
Ah! Oh man.
Because one of the things they do in this movie, which I think is very cool, is that Spock is super powered. Like, he's strong. Like, he's 10 humans strong.
Yeah, he's Vulcan. He's got Vulcan strength. Yeah.
But they don't really show it that much in the other movies. And in the Into the Darkness, it's like a super powered battle with... that
was awesome.
Yeah, between him and Khan.
I like when he death grips him and he kind of like fights through it.
Look at these visuals. Oh man, that's the skydiving scene.
Oh yeah, you get to see Sulu pull out his sword.
Yeah,
that cyber like fold out sword he has.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. Look at this. I know you don't like if it's too like clean and stuff. I like it art directionally for different reasons. I think
it looks like the inside of an iPad.
Yeah, I know you're definitely right with that. Like this is if Apple had its way, this is what the future would look like. All right, and this is what the future.
Oh boy,
this is what the future could look like. Sorry, that
with
was
clean, clean lines, clean lines and everything,
streamlined, very Apple.
That face is
perfect circles,
perfect circles. Yeah. Okay, so this is like, hey,
I'm giving her all she's got.
Aye, Captain.
The introduction of all those characters I thought was so awesome though in this movie.
Yeah.
So this is going to be tough for me, you guys. It really is. And what's his name? The Hulk was a great villain in this.
How did you guys feel about the bad guy? Actually,
look at Neo. Neo.
Sorry,
he's shit, Captain. Bones.
He left me with only my bones.
Yeah, that should be the thumbnail of the picture.
Language, Bones. Language.
What were you going to say, Taylor?
I can't concentrate. Look at the thing.
Not with his face like that.
I'm leaving this.
How did you
gonna pop?
How did you guys feel about the villain of this story?
Neo he was pretty cool. I didn't think he was a strong villain though.
What? I thought he was a very like believable villain. The only thing is like these things sometimes you have to suspend disbelief. Like I always say this, if you're going to watch Buffy the Vampire Slayer, you definitely have to sign off that when these dead people rise up and become vampires, they just know karate. That's it. Like you have to you're never going to enjoy an episode of Buffy the Vampire Slayer if you don't sign off on that. And I think for the Star Trek movie, if you don't sign off on that, the villain is going to use this ultimate ability, this godlike power to time travel, and all he can think of doing is take down what is it? What is the group of Star Trek travelers? What are they called?
Starfleet.
Starfleet, yeah. All he can think about is taking down Starfleet. Like it's personal. Like
I almost said Star Command.
Star Command. Well, the thing is, okay, like his wife died and his world died or whatever, so he blames Kirk or Spock and all this
Spock.
And it's the Federation. So it's the Federation, right? He blames them. But instead of going back in time before his wife died and just having a life with her and maybe preventing that from happening in his timeline, no. He's got to kill them. That's all he can think about. like what do you think, like, if you if you were like, if you had the ultimate, like, I think time travel is the ultimate power, right? So if you could time travel and you could do anything, and your wife died and your family died, and that's all you can think about, like you're the average Joe and all you can think about is what was taken away from you, wouldn't you try to get it back versus like just make everybody pay for what they did? I don't know.
True.
I mean, I would argue yes.
Yes. So
I
anyway,
can't see any reason not to.
If you're really that, like, oh, I'm so upset about this thing. So I think for me, it was the villain was like sympathetic in the sense that he was just an average guy that had his life taken away from it, and all he wants is vengeance. But at the same time, he has the ultimate ability. He has the ultimate ability to make the wrong right. Like not eye for an eye, like, blood, for blood. He could just go back in time.
He could undo it, yeah.
Yeah, he could undo it and make sure that it doesn't even get to that point, because now he knows what's going to happen. He knows that this thing is this red star or whatever the heck it was is going to cause all this trouble. He could prevent it. He could go to the Federation and say, this thing's going to happen. Let's prepare a little bit better because I don't want to lose my wife and kids.
Yeah, and move them in the meantime or something.
Yeah, but no, like Buffy the Vampire Slayer, you just have to sign off on that. All this guy wants is the Federation to be destroyed. Okay, so let's go forward. All right, Taylor, you have a pet peeve about this certain designer, and he works with J.J. Abrams a lot. Do you want to?
Oh, are we talking about? Oh my gosh. I can't remember his name. He has a really silly name.
Okay, he did. Okay, anybody in the chat? I'm sorry, I put you on the spot. Neville Page. Neville Page, yeah.
Okay, yeah. We need to stop with Neville Page, you guys. I don't know any other way to put it, but every movie he's in, every creature is just some like. It always has back jointed leg. That is a great still screen.
Hey guys.
Hey.
I'm sick of his like back jointed legs, like grasshopper looking fleshy creatures. They all look the same. Like you can always tell that they're Neville Page sign. They're always gross. They look kind of like they might be aquatic, and they always have those dumb back jointed legs and those like cloudy big eyes.
Okay, if we're watching a movie, guys, just for the record, okay, like let's just say Taylor and I are watching a movie for the first time, it will just like she'll go, "Oh my gosh, that's a Neville Page design." It'll just like out of the blue, like she'll go and it just destroy the whole movie for her because she'll go, "That's a Neville Page monster."
It.
Yeah, and I'm just like, "Oh, okay, so it's a bad design, but let's move forward." No, she's like, "No,
no, you can't enjoy your movie art." Neville Page
He must pay.
We were watching Cowboys versus Aliens one time. We were watching like the behind the scenes stuff, and we were partially watching because we were working. But I just remember like they showed him sculpting something in ZBrush, and it had those dumb back jointed legs and that pear shaped head. And I was like, "There you go. You're paying him for a design he's done in like 5 movies now." Like,
why is he still doing these movies?
Like, why do they still keep giving him work? I wish I was him. He's been doing the same design for like 10 years.
Okay, look at what's his name's little butt. Just kidding. Let's move forward.
He's wearing tighty whities.
He's wearing tighty whities. This ship right here, I believe, was Brian. What's his name? The comic book guy, the Ultimates.
Oh, really?
Yeah, John, you should know this. Brian. Is it something Brian?
Hitch.
Brian Hitch. There you go. Yeah, this ship, the one that kind of spun around, it had like the orb, and then that thing kind of spun around its axis.
Yes.
This ship was so cool. You can see like right in that center, that little lid area, that's the cockpit. But I think the ship kind of spins around the cockpit. It's really cool. It's a really cool design.
It kind of looks like the Slave one though.
No, but that it's like a donut that's around an orb. It's not like the Slave one at all. It doesn't have a flat side, really. I mean, I guess the the one side is flat.
The faceplate, I guess, is probably the only part.
Yeah, it looks a little Slave One. Yeah, you're right there. But I think that it leans. It doesn't stay on the screen very long, but I think it leans around that orb.
The chat says it's called a squid ship.
Yeah, it's
kind of cool.
All the ships in this, except for that monster, are very cool. Well, I guess the monster's not a ship, but all the designs in this movie are very cool, except for that monster.
Yeah, I can agree with that. The world designs and stuff are pretty interesting.
He was good. He almost made me believe that he was dumb enough to just want to, get revenge on the Federation.
That's Eric Bana, right?
Yes, he was good.
Eric Bana, Bruce Bana.
Bruce Bana. Okay. All right. So, what do we want to do? Do we want to just chime in now, do the round robin, or do you guys want to add anything to this before we do our round robin?
James says, Art sounds so fresh with his love, while the rest of us come across as all jaded and miserly. By the rest of us, do you mean me and John? What the heck?
You guys got to step it up, man.
He brings the hope.
He brings the hope. A new hope.
If you will.
Some might
Episode 4.
Art's hope for these two franchises.
Yeah.
Okay. Ooh, keep that in the back of your mind. Hope, maybe we could do that too. We can say the hope for these two franchises after we do our round robin.
Okay.
I'm down with that.
So we can project how we think this is going to pay off and maybe who's going to do better in the long run, since this is a versus kind of a competition. So having said that, let's just go with John and let us know what you think of Star Wars Force Awakens. Well, I guess the first two Star Wars movies.
Okay. So in comparison between the two versus the other two.
Yeah.
As far as leading these franchises into the now and to the future.
No. Just what you think about the franchise at this point, like just from what you think, and then we'll do a projected after, though. But we'll
oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, so what
gotcha.
we're just going to talk about the two or we're just going to talk about Star Trek right now, or Star Wars. I'm sorry. So give me your thoughts about Star Wars, then we'll get Taylor's thought, and then we'll get my thoughts, and then we'll go over to Star Trek, and we'll do the same. And then we'll let everybody vote, and while they're voting, we'll talk about where we.
Should we give them a chance to vote now?
Well, no, they need to collect their thoughts on this.
What do you think? What do you think we? Well, maybe Taylor's right. Maybe if we talk about, we'll skew it. We'll skew the vote.
Yeah. So let's say 1 for Star Wars, 2 for Star Trek. So let us know where you guys stand in the chat. If you prefer Star Wars 1 or Star Trek number 2.
Okay, Taylor. Just don't let us know.
I won't. I'm not going to say until the very end.
Okay, so go ahead, John. What do you think of Star Wars?
Okay, with the first two movies here of now is pretty good. They did have a little bit of a fall off in the second movie. But with The Force Awakens, I was super giddy and everything. I did feel like they gave away too much too quick, and I think that's due to the fact of all the fandom with the prequels that came out prior, because everybody wants to know now, instead of being surprised and led into who is this guy, who is under that mask. And then, but it was a lot of unmasking in that movie, just like with the Stormtrooper, the unmasking. Yeah. The unmasking of who the new Emperor is, which was Snoke, and the name itself. So everybody's in the know. That's my bad points to it. But visually and moving forward past the original 3.
No, we don't want to do that yet. We're going to do that after. So
I'm talking about as far as The Force Awakens itself.
Okay.
As far as it moving forward, the 30 years past the Battle of Yavin from the first 3 movies, they did a really great job at bringing forth new characters and cementing the old ones in place with these new characters, So I liked it a lot. Like I said, the bad point was the unmasking of just about everything in it. It just didn't give you enough.
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, giving it away just didn't give you any mystery or intrigue to trying to figure it all out yourself.
That's a really good observation. And that's a great nutshell answer too, because I probably, well, I shouldn't speak now, but I probably wouldn't have articulated as good as you did, because I think you may be right there. So is that all your thoughts? You want to move on to Taylor?
That's all my thoughts on Star Wars.
Okay, let's go.
Well, this is really difficult because I really enjoyed The Last Jedi. I mean, I did not enjoy The Last Jedi. I really enjoyed Force Awakens because it was it kind of, people are totally right when they say it's exactly like A New Hope. But as far as like a starter, like restarting the franchise, I think it's a pretty good move and it's pretty safe. It was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it, but I absolutely hated The Last Jedi. And it was a really strange experience because the way the Force Awakens ended like left me really wanting more, and I was super excited to see the next one. But then seeing The Last Jedi, it didn't take very long into the movie for me to be like, uh-oh, this is a bad movie. And it's like really rare that happens because like I've seen a lot of bad movies or movies I ended up really hating, but a lot of the time I have to kind of sit with it. Like I'll leave the theater being like, I don't know how I feel about this, and then I'll like come to the conclusion. Like Man of Steel, the first time I saw it, I was like, I don't know how I felt about that. It didn't feel too bad. And then the more I thought of it, the more I like grew to hate it. But while watching The Last Jedi, like there was an exact point I can pinpoint where I was just like, I don't like this. And then I kept trying to move past it, like, well, don't decide you don't like it because then you're not going to enjoy the rest of the movie. And like I could never get past it. And it was just a really weird feeling because it's like one movie I really enjoyed, one movie I really didn't enjoy. So it kind of brings down the entire experience. Like my experience with the second movie hurts my positive experience of the first movie.
Yeah.
And like the trailers, like I liked both of the trailers when they first came out. But I feel like I was really riding high when I saw the first trailer because I was so excited. But rewatching the trailer for The Last Jedi now, it's an okay trailer, but I feel like maybe I thought it was better because I was just so excited because I was coming off that high of seeing the previous movie and having high expectations.
Yeah.
So it kind of brings down, it sucks, but the second movie like brought down my experience with the first. And a lot of people in the chat, I think, kind of relate to that. And it sucks because I have like a major history with Star Wars and I really like it. And even with the prequels, they were so goofy and I've had so much distance because like I saw them as a kid. So there's distance between them. They weren't that personal, but like, I don't know, like it leaves me in a really weird place with the franchise as a whole, I guess.
Yeah,
Those are my
agree.
thoughts on it.
I totally agree. And is it okay? So for me, I think kind of what John said was as a over reaching arc, like for like let's say there's 3 movies, that it felt weird, like that they were resolving things almost too quickly. Like,
yes.
Like they would set it up and then they would pay it off, set it up and pay it off. So even something as simple as like the Vader thing, like where I'm going with this. So let's say, okay, so we have this character, right? You know, however you feel about the design, I agree with Taylor. I was a little bit lukewarm on it, but as I'm watching the movie, though, the first Force Awakens, I'm kind of thinking, okay, you know, it's fine. But when he just takes the helmet off, there's no impact. It's like, well, who cares? He's okay. He's a kid. But I was thinking, this is from the second movie. What if this was Kylo's reveal? What if this was the first time you saw Kylo take off the helmet? So then he takes off the helmet, right? And then he destroys the helmet because he's rejecting. He's torn. He's maybe rejecting his father. Maybe he's rejecting his lineage. You know what I mean? But that's more of a payoff. Like he takes the helmet off. He exposes who he really is, and then he smashes the helmet. That's a payoff. Like I don't know what the story, like how it would fit into the story, but that's definitely a payoff. That's like a setup and then a payoff. So maybe at the end of the movie, have him frustrated. So after he kills his dad, then you see him, he takes the helmet off and he exposes himself for maybe the first time, and then he smashes the helmet against the wall. Or he doesn't have the helmet on when he talks to his dad, right? In the movie. So maybe
he takes it off.
Yeah, he told him to take it off.
Yeah. So let's just say that's the first time you see him take off the helmet in the entire movie.
That'd be way better.
So he exposes himself to his dad for the first time, and so then it's like a weakness. Ew. So you actually think like, oh, maybe there is a chance he's going to turn, because he actually takes the helmet off and shows him for his true self. And then, of course, he slays his dad. And so then he goes back to his private quarters. And then you have that scene where he smashes the helmet into the wall. And he's kind of like, I'm not this guy anymore. I don't know who I am, but I'm not this guy. And then you just leave it at that. Like, holy crap, what's going on with this guy? You know what I mean? Like, you don't know. He's crazy. He's insane. He doesn't know, is he the son of Han Solo and Luke or Leia?
That'd be more interesting.
That would be really weird.
You're against nature.
You're against nature. Han Solo carried you for 9 months.
You were the harbinger of destruction.
You were the bastard that should have never been. But anyway, that's another story.
That's a story for another time.
Yeah. So you guys, just to get into like John's point, like just where the payoffs felt better, and also like they set up the Snoke character, Snoke or whatever and then they just kill him in such a way like wait a minute, are you really this badass guy, or are you just this guy that could be killed that easily? Like it didn't even seem like they had to battle all that guy's his major troops, like his personal warriors, and then this guy's so strong that they're able to kill him on his own turf. Like they didn't even surprise him or anything. Like it was pretty obvious what they were gonna do, and so then he does it. And then, like, if this guy could read their mind and everything, like, how are they able to get the jump on this guy? And also, like John was saying, you set up that this is going to be the big bad, and then you didn't even really pay it off in any real way. Like, you didn't show how did he rise to power? How did any of this stuff happen? Who is this guy? What's his backstory? Does he know, Luke and Leia and all the, Han from the, previous movies? Nothing. Why is he so mad? Why is he the leader of this group? You know what I mean? All those things you don't know, and then they just killed him. So
that brings up a great question I want to ask you guys after.
Okay, well, I'm gonna sum this up because it is kind of like I'm just kind of saying what John said, but then too, like for me, in the 3 original movies where Luke was the main character, they always felt like Luke's story, even when they went off on tangents and went into with the other characters.
Yeah.
But in Force Awakens, or I mean in Last Jedi, it doesn't feel like Rey's story anymore. It feels like you don't know whose story it is, to be honest. Like it feels so unfocused. Like you don't even really, I don't know. I didn't feel like I was following Rey anymore. In that first movie, I did, but in that second movie, I don't know. I didn't feel anything for that Rey character, and I didn't really care about her journey at that point. I thought it was weird and unfocused, and even like Poe and Finn, I didn't even really care about too much in this second movie. They seemed like they seemed like non-characters to me, and in the original, even when they went their separate ways, they still felt like they were connected, and maybe it was because it was smart to make Leia and Luke brothers and sister, brother and sister, because they were always strangely connected. Like there was always like this family.
It felt organic.
Yeah.
They're kind of extensions of each other in a weird way.
Yeah, and they had their own adventures, but they were connected not just by the Force, but by blood as well.
Yeah, it felt very natural, and they had really good chemistry as actors.
Yeah, and I think that the first one in Force Awakens, I think those three new characters, the heroes, Poe, Finn, and Rey, I thought they were awesome. I was down for their journey. I was like, yeah, this
Oh
is
yeah,
cool.
In the first one, yeah,
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 definitely.
yeah,
yeah. And then you're still supposed to continue on their journey because they're supposed to be the focal to this new uh force, and because it's the new Force Awakens, okay?
right.
But yet they went off track of more broad scope of every single character in this second movie here. But like in the first original three, the better movie of all those three was The Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah,
And you don't get that in this one at all.
no, not even
It
close.
did not build up to a bigger excitement at
It
all.
didn't
It
even really.
fell.
It didn't even feel like it was connected to the other movie. To be honest, it felt really
Yeah,
disconnected for me. But we need to wrap
exactly.
this up. So let's
Okay.
let's get into Star Trek. So, John, what are your thoughts about Star Trek?
The two movies were excellent to me. I like both franchises really well. I know them both really well. Uh, the total characters, the chemistry amongst them in the very first one, and the introductions of each one was ultimate. It was great, especially with bringing forth Kirk from the very start. Knowing his backstory right there. Rebellious kid. And growing as a captain.
Yeah,
you know, and Spock with his internal fight amongst his human side to his Vulcan side, to where it's more well mannered and logical, to the illogical impulses of what a human is, and they played very well with one another, with Kirk and him, through that battles and trying to become one as an enterprise. So
That was a good pitch.
that was good.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So Taylor, how do you feel about the Star Trek stuff?
Um, okay, here's the thing. So we're gonna try to keep this short, but even though I liked the Star Trek movies, I felt like they were well made. I know a lot of like deep Star Trek fans were kind of like a little bleh about them, like they weren't that into them. I thought as a movie they were good, but I can't help it. Like, I'm not that intrigued by the Star Trek lore and world. Like, even though I enjoyed them and I enjoyed the first two, I never felt like I was lost in them in the same way I felt about Star Wars. Like, even when Star Wars was bad in that last one, I was pretty like lost in it, lost in confusion. But so like I don't know. They're well-made movies, but they don't feel like they have a lot of heart to me personally.
Okay. Do you think a lot of that stems from just that you were never a Star Trek fan in general?
Yeah, like I was just never immersed in it. Like Star Wars, I got into it so early at such a young age. And Star Trek, like I never knew anything about it. So when I saw the movies, there were times when I felt like kind of lost. And I was like, oh, this is for people. Like I'm sure this is how people feel because I have friends who haven't never seen Star Wars movies. I'm sure how this is how they feel like when we talk about Star Wars. But there are things where I was just like, oh, this is for people who really love Star Trek because I don't know what's going on right now. Like when they first brought in like the alternate timeline Spock, I was like, oh, okay, we're gonna go there. That's really weird. But I was like used to it because I've seen so many sci-fi movies. But I was like, I guess this is a part of how Star Trek is. But it just felt really weird, like to me at the time. And it's stuff like that that I'm just like, oh, I'm losing interest.
Yeah.
Well, like I'm sorry, Art.
Oh, go ahead.
Like with Star Wars, where there was a long period between the movies, with this new jumpstart. Same thing with Star Trek. The last time we saw one was with the Next Generation, where they took over in the movies, and then it was cut off. Was it the early 2000? Right in there. I can't remember where their last one was. Nemesis or something it was called. But this was the huge new jump on. You know.
I just always felt disconnected from it.
Well, I thought this. I did too, as well, because it's kind of like what some of the fandom in comics, they say, oh, there's just too much lore. There's too much lore, and I kind of feel that, but it was lore. Like the TV show never quite did it for me 100% when I was a kid. So I never really got sucked into Star Trek as a whole or as an idea. And at times, some of the movies, like when they did the original cast and they did the big movies, some of those movies worked for me. Some of them didn't. But there wasn't enough of them that worked for me to carry me over. And so then when Next Generation, I thought that was, for me, it was a big improvement on the Star Trek franchise, but I still wasn't 100% on that either. But having said that, this like just the first Star Trek, the 2009 Star Trek movie was a retelling of the origin. It was a retelling of how they happened. So I thought it was kind of like the Ultimates, like the Ultimate Marvel books, where they kind of retold their origins. So they retold their origins, but they didn't do them in the textbook way or in a way that you had seen before. What they did is they said, these are alternate or different versions of these characters. So these are like, this is like the what if version of Star Trek. This is like, what if this had happened? What if this didn't happen? And so on and so forth. So it's kind of following the same pattern, but not. So time is being rewritten with these characters. So you're going to get the same storylines, or you're going to get the same characters, but they're going to act and be different than you may have expected them. And I think that they did such a well. Like I said, I wasn't really attached to the franchise, so I wasn't like, oh, I love these guys so much, anything you change is going to destroy them. I didn't have that going into it. If it was Batman or something like that, I would definitely be more opinionated. But not having that, I found the first movie, I found all three of the new Star Trek movies absolutely amazing. I loved them. I loved the characterizations. I knew the lore enough that I knew how they were veering from the lore and how they were changing it up. And I did like a lot of the art directions. I thought the ships were good. I thought the Neville Page stuff, like Tater said, a little weak. But I did like it overall, and that not Into the Darkness. Beyond. What's the new the third? Beyond. I thought that thing was really, really good. And I think the cast, the actors that they got, were really, really good. So this is going to be real tough for me, guys. So should we go to the chat, Taylor?
Yeah.
Wait, go ahead, John.
Yeah, one last thing. Two of the greatest actors in it also is the ships. That Enterprise and that Millennium Falcon. When those things came through, no matter which audience you're sitting in, everyone cheered when they seen those ships.
They're a character in the story.
Yes, they are. Yeah.
Are you ready to hear where the chat weighs in?
Okay, this is gonna wait. This
my gosh.
Is it close? Just say, is it?
It's a complete tie. 6 votes to 6 votes.
Oh my God! I knew this was going to be tough. Okay. So maybe we'll be the tiebreaker here, because I kind of know where Taylor's going to go. I kind of know where I'm going to go, but let's see where John's going to go. But John, we're going to go to you last instead of first. Okay? So we're going to we're going to go Taylor, because I think you're going to be the tiebreaker, right? Okay. Taylor, say your piece. This is fun.
Star Wars.
Okay.
Even though it's abused me, I'm coming back.
Oh my gosh. I think it's because it abused me with that second movie. I'm not going Star Trek or Star Wars. I'm going Star Trek because I think consistently the 3 movies are really, really strong. And I think that each one of the movies kind of builds off the other one in continuity. And they feel like an ongoing storyline to me. And I think I like, to be honest, I like the characters better. I think if they could have kept Rey and Poe and Finn and carried them from the first movie, The Force Awakens, and they could have kept that charm of those 3 characters in that second movie, I would probably feel completely different. But I didn't even get a sense of who those people were in that second movie. Like all the charm and everything. Like, how do you mess up? What is the actress that plays Rey? How do you
Daisy Ridley?
Yeah. How do you give her crap. Like, she is so adorable. I mean, she's so compassionate, and she's so radiates like she can go from like compassion to rage to, I mean, she's a great actress, and she really embodied that role in that first movie. That second movie, I didn't even care about any of the
She was
stuff.
hardly a character.
Yeah. I mean, they had this, it was supposed to be deep, where she looks at herself in the reflection. Like, what the heck was that? Like what was the like revelation that came out of that scene? Like, she just sees many of her, like, and then she snaps her finger, ta 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 ta. Like, okay, it's a great mind trippy visual, but how is this? How is this character? Like, when Luke saw his dad's helmet, like when he saw that, when because they had a similar scene in
Yeah, which is much more successful.
yeah, because then you go, oh my gosh, that's impactful. Like, oh my God, he could be like his dad. Like, that throws a question up. Like, if he doesn't finish his training and he doesn't take this seriously, he could go down the dark side path. This was like, I don't know what the hell that was. Like, the visual was kind of silly. Okay, so Taylor, you went Star Wars, right?
I went Star Wars, you went Star Trek.
I'm going Star Trek.
And
so
now
John,
we're enemies.
and now we're mortal enemies. That's what this show does. It doesn't bring people together. It divides us. Yeah. Okay, John, you're gonna be the divider, because now we're still tied. This whole thing is tied.
All right. Like you with the fallout in the Last Jedi, where it was all over the place, and I didn't really get that feeling with the characters, also that connection with them like we're supposed to, and the actual build up from the first movie to where it's like the Empire Strikes Back in the second movie, to where we had a Jedi training a new Jedi. We really didn't touch further onto that like they did in the Empire Strikes Back, which a lot of these are supposed to be with that first three, how they were trying to line it up. And you just had too many different characters that they were trying to introduce and focus with, I guess, but you didn't continue with your main focal heroes, your heroes. Star Trek, just exactly like you said, we kept a continuity. We built it up. We added to the main characters. And that was really a big deciding factor with me also with this new genre of Star Wars versus Star Trek.
John, I just gotta chill. I don't know where you're gonna go with this. I just gotta chill.
The fence got knocked over. Just say that. Okay. The fence is now on the side of the Trek because we pick? Have the fence is on the side of the Trek God. Because they are pure discoverers. We're not here just to go battle. We're here to be a discovery, and we discovered it. We discovered that it's better.
So you picked Star Trek?
Did you notice? Yeah. Okay, did you guys notice that Taylor already knew where John was going to go? And so she was talking over John so he couldn't get it out. Like, she's like, oh, God, no, John.
No.
Oh, John.
She goes, I'm going to bury your body out in that wasteland.
Davies!
Davies!
in her Snoke voice. Yeah. With his crooked head. That guy had a crooked face, didn't he? And a crooked head, like someone.
It's like a squash.
You know how when you're a kid, you go, "I'm gonna punch your face in." Like literally, he got his face punched in. Okay, so if you guys want to send hate mail, send it to John Davies. No, I'm just kidding. Don't do that. John's a great guy, and I will tell you this too: that John, you're a very brave man because you were the deciding vote. It came down to you. So in a war, in some kind of battle, John, I want to fight, alongside you because I think you'd have
stands by his principles.
Yeah.
I got your back always, Art. You know that. Yeah. I've supported you for many years and through all these campaigns with Chrono Mechanics and Black and White, which we're down to just hours now. So yeah.
Okay, should we do a reveal and then wrap this up? Of like a reveal for black and white numbers. Let's see if I can
do it.
Yeah, let's get in there.
Let's see if I can do this. Okay. Oh my gosh. I mean,
Refresh.
already I'm beside myself. Wait. I know, but I'm trying to thank people, John, for getting to this point. You have to eat. John's like, do it, refresh, get on it. Just like Taylor was when you were trying to say Star Trek.
Right.
Let's make this day better by refreshing this.
Okay. Okay.
Thank everyone.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, thank you for giving me permission, John. 29,478. We have 546 backers. My gosh, we have 2 days left. This is blowing me away. And I just want to say, if we get to 30K, some lucky winners are going to get the Greg Capullo original artwork that's been made into a variant cover, and they're going to get the original page 1 from issue 2 of Black and White, the 94 series. So, let's refresh. Oh my God!
Yes, it grew. And 553
Oh my gosh.
backers. Yes.
I don't know. I'm starting to think that maybe I haven't refreshed this page in a while, because that's a major leap right there.
Thanks, you guys.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, we're under 300 away from getting that original page into your hands, original pages, these two here. And if that wasn't enough, at 30K, go ahead, Taylor. Tell them what they get at 30K.
At 30K, we're all going to get extra pages in the black and white book, pages that we have been wanting to add since day one, but money would not allow. And now, well, I'm not going to say it now. We're so close to do that. The 30 pages. Sorry, you guys, I'm frazzled by finding this out. The 30K stretch goal, yeah, we're going to get new, never before seen story pages. And that majorly extends the story and allows us to elaborate on points in the story, lore areas that we didn't get to elaborate on before. So it's a pretty big deal for us.
So I think that's because right now we're at least 6 new pages that are added.
At least.
To the 48. We're going to flesh that out, because now we can actually start dreaming about putting these new pages in. Before we were kind of like, I don't know if we're going to do it or not, because I don't know if we're going to get to the 30K. But now that new dream is looking like it's going to be a reality. So what will that be, if I did my math right in my head? 54? So that's 54 pages now, from 48 pages to 54, if we can make that 30K stretch goal. Or I should say, when we make that 30K stretch goal.
Oh, yeah.
Yes,
it's always the win and the now. So,
yeah.
So those are extra pages that are sitting on the desks that have never, ever been seen before in a black and white book.
No, these will be brand new pages that haven't even been drawn yet or written, really.
Oh, they're written in.
Yeah, so this is going to be 6 brand new pages that aren't being remastered. These are like 6 new pages that will be drawn and written. Yeah.
In our beautiful square-bound book that you guys made happen.
Yeah, that you upgraded, that we'll also get my wife to sign as well, Pamela Thibert, the original writer of the series. So, yeah, we should wrap this up. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I hope this was fun. It was a blast for us. John, do you have anything you want to plug?
You guys can catch me on all sorts of social media, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. I have a book coming out next February on Indiegogo, which is the event, Children from the Atom. And I would like everyone to stay cray-cray.
That's branding right there. Very good. How about you, Taylor? You want to? Well, you know what? I already did my plug. Why don't we just get Taylor to do the YouTube plugs, and then we'll wrap this one up.
All right. Thanks for joining us, you guys. Join us next time. And if you guys have suggestions for verses, I saw some of you guys are posting that in the comment section. Let us know. They don't have to just be movies. They can be characters. They can be things, nerdy things that we could talk about here. And if you enjoy this video, please like, subscribe, and hit the bell for notifications so you know when we go live. Black and White is in its 2-day point now. So if you're waiting to get a book, wait no longer. Don't miss your chance. Tell all your friends. Spread the word. And thank you guys for your support. Word of mouth is very important to us. And stay tuned for the next time we go live. And thank you for supporting Black and White Remastered.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Have a good one.